Hello Aries Moon, and welcome to your prediction for the new moon in Virgo happening around the 17th of September. Stay tuned. Beautiful Aries moons, welcome. And it is quite an intense time for you right now because Mars is retrograding on the 9th of September, and this is it's an intense thing for anyone with these strong Aries placements, and it's a good thing to be aware of. It's a good thing to be aware of in terms of watching out for triggers, watching out how you react to certain things, watching how you transmute aggression rather into assertiveness, because assertiveness is very useful, very important. And learning how to channel our aggression in healthy ways, because, you know, if we feel that need to release aggression, then we do need to find an outlet for that. But Tanya Gabrielle speaks about the Mars retrograde as a activation of the sacred masculine, and I really do love this interpretation. So may we focus upon transmuting any of those lower energies and bringing it to that sacred space. And the other thing is that it's not really a good time for pushing too hard to get things to move forward, right? While we shouldn't stop our work and we should push things forward, there may be a couple little obstacles that pop up along the way. And one of your cards that have come up here is certainly about obstacles, and this is really looking at the general energy. We have this mountain, this great obstacle that lies before you, but the thing with obstacles is that we can look at it in different ways. We can look at it and go, oh no, now I've got all this extra things, like stuff to worry about, and oh, you know, and we can get all upset about it, and we can look at it as a problem. Or we can go, okay, cool, let's climb the mountain. Might be a really fun adventure, might be really enjoyable. Hey, there might be some amazing views on the way up. And so just surrender to each obstacle as it appears and deal with it in a calm manner. Keep checking in with yourself, bring yourself to that space of centeredness. The other general energy that's coming up for you, we have the stag and the boat. And the stag represents a messenger. It's also a masculine energy, but it's really about integration of the masculine and the feminine, because while the stag is a masculine energy, the rider here is female, and so it's about them working together to deliver or receive a message, to be the messenger. And so sometimes you're going to need to deliver a message in terms of maybe you're realizing that there's a relationship where you need to set a boundary. Maybe you've been giving too much energy and you just need to go, hey, look, I respect you. I see how I've allowed this to accumulate to this point, but now I'm realizing it's actually too much for me to take on. And so I need to set this boundary, which, you know, it's not your fault. It's not something you did. It's just what I need to do for myself. And this is far better than you losing your temper and blaming that person for using you, for example, instead of you accepting responsibility for having taken too much on and having enabled that person to use you, essentially. But the message could also be receiving messages. It could be about receiving guidance from your angels. And of course, you do need to tap in order to integrate and receive these messages. But certainly this idea of messages being delivered. And so may we deliver them with kindness when need be. And may we take the time to tap in, to listen to our intuitive voices so that we may hear the guidance as needed. And then the boat really speaks about a voyage. It speaks about a journey. It speaks about, I mean, maybe you're moving overseas, maybe you're thinking about moving overseas and starting to put those plans into action. Maybe you're just going to move house, maybe you need to go on a trip, maybe you're going to work on a boat. There are all sorts of things that can come up with this boat, but maybe the voyage is just a voyage within yourself, within your own psyche. Maybe you're going to voyage in the dream space. There are so many ways that this voyage can play out. And so you also have agency in choosing this voyage. So I hope you watch out for this voyage, or maybe it's something you already know about. And I hope that you're listening to the messages that are coming through to know what is the right course of action, what is the right way to go about this journey. And maybe it's a metaphoric journey in terms of the next step in your career or your healing journey. And then in terms of the specific energies that are leading up to this new moon for you, we have the Six of Cups and the Lovers card. And this is really lovely. This Lovers card is coming up a lot. It really is a good time for new romances. It's a good time to put a resurgence into old romances, or old romances is maybe not the best way to say it, but you know, current relationships that you're in. And this might be friendships as well. You know, sometimes our soulmate bonds are not with our lovers, but we can also embark upon being lovers or loving within our friendship soulmate relationships as well. And if you're not already in a relationship and you're not ready to be meeting someone, there may be this sense of, oh, and I'm really feeling this one very strongly, of looking at your past relationships that you've had, looking at the kinds of patterns that have repeated themselves over and over. And even if you are currently in a relationship, recognizing the ways that certain patterns in your current relationship are reflecting patterns in previous relationships, and then asking questions around, what is it I need to learn here? What is it I need to change in order to break this cycle? And take the responsibility to do the healing work and the releasing and the forgiving, and forgiving partners that you were with previously. Maybe you were cheated on, maybe someone lied to you, maybe someone broke up with you in an inappropriate manner or an unkind manner. All of these things, but it's really important to just do that forgiveness work, because otherwise we're going to just bring these into our new relationships, our next relationships, and of course the relationship we have with self, checking in. What are the kinds of words you're using to speak to yourself? And the other thing that's coming through is, if you are in a relationship, I really want you to ask questions around, what are you doing to bring in the sacred three, the triangle? So there's you, there's your partner, and then there's spirit, or something greater than you, something else that you bring into that relationship. And maybe it's religion, maybe it's meditation, whatever terminology resonates for you, but that sacred essence, bringing that into the relationship and just asking, how are you incorporating that into your relations with each other? And are you speaking to each other and practicing speaking to each other as if you are the divine beings you are, because you are. Yeah, there really is this sense of releasing old trauma. And you know, there really is a lot of healing energy around at the moment. We have a lot of signs in a lot of planets in earth signs. Of course, we have Sun in Virgo. The moon's going to be shifting into Virgo for the new moon, and so we really have this beautiful healing, supporting, nurturing earth energy to work with. And so it's the perfect time for you to go, okay, sit quietly. What is it that I need to heal? What is it that I'm still carrying? What is it that needs to come up? And then just sit and listen and wait, and maybe nothing comes up, and that's okay. Then you can just sit with your nothingness. That's all right. You're very lucky if nothing comes up, but maybe something surprising pops up, and then you're like, okay, cool. This is something I need to forgive. And then in terms of the energy happening for you over this new moon, we have the Sun card with the Four of Pentacles. And the Sun card is really wonderful, and it's really come up a lot at the moment. Here in the Southern Hemisphere, we are moving into spring, or we've shifted into spring. It's still pretty cold in Cape Town, but it's been a long and cold and rainy winter, and we're getting very excited for the blooming flowers. The flowers are blooming beautifully and things are green. And of course, all of that sun is on the way. And so for us, things are really opening up in this joyful way right now. We're really seeing that hope of summer. Of course, for you guys in the Northern Hemisphere, it is another story, but you've been in this beautiful, glorious sun and summer energy, and I know you guys still have some beautiful sun to work with as you allow the energies to slow down and prepare yourself for winter, moving through the autumn. But this Sun card, it really is about expansion, it's about heart-centeredness, it's about love, it's about appreciation, it's about abundance, it's about fruition, it's about harvest, it's about cycles, because the sun comes up and goes down, and it comes up and it goes down, and of course all of the planets are moving around the sun, and so there's this sense of continuation and things looping instead of moving in a linear way. And so these circular patterns, these spiraling patterns even, they really reflect this idea of eternalness, of never ending, of ongoing, and it also reflects the ways in which our souls never die, and that just continues, and energy cannot be created nor destroyed, guys. It is always transforming. And I think that's a great reminder. And, you know, one of the ways in which we recycle our energy or pass on our life force energy is also through having children. And so for some of you, there is this looking towards your children, if you do have children. For some of you, maybe you're visualizing that in the future. But for some of you, it really is the other aspects of sun energy that's coming through. But this really is paired with this Four of Pentacles, and I'll be surprised if I haven't read about the Four of Pentacles for you guys already, because this card is really persistent this year of 2020. Because everyone took such a hard financial and economic hit with lockdown, and people had to adapt and change. And look, some people are flourishing, some people managed to capitalize, some people certainly planned it even before it all happened. But for a lot of people, their incomes were either drastically shortened or, diminished, or completely cut. And this is it's a tough energy to deal with. And so even for those of us who were absolute masters of manifestation and finance and having enough, 2020 went pop, and then that flow kind of just stopped for a while, and then you had to live on savings if you're fortunate enough to have savings. You had to hustle if you couldn't work with savings. Maybe you've had to depend on other people to help you and support you, but you've made it this far. And so I just want you to check in with your beliefs around money, and just check in with the kind of energy that you are placing on your money and the finances that you do have, so that you can just open up those abundant channels again, because you've done a lot of work to shift your career, to shift the way you work. Perhaps you've completely changed your career and you are seeing things open up a bit, but maybe you've gotten into this habit of either being too tight with your money. In fact, I really feel like it's this thing of being too tight with the money. But this card can also be talking about being too frivolous with the spending, and just like money in, money out. And then, you know, the thing is, money is an energy. And when you accumulate money, it's like a representation of your energy. And then where you direct that money is where you're focusing your energy. So is it going towards like a binge drinking night, or a big party, or even binging on drugs, or buying unhealthy food? or going to eat out every night? Or are you channeling that money into investing in your future, into building new beautiful projects? I mean, essentially the point is that wherever you're channeling that money, you're channeling your energy, right? And so you need to really ask yourself the question, is this the thing I want to grow? Is this where I want to shift my focus? Is this aligning with what I want to create right now? Is it aligning with my goals? And make sure that you have set those goals. And I feel like you have, but just keep checking in, because with this Virgo energy, it really is about looking at the finer details and asking all of the questions around each little thing. Is this worth my time? Is it? Only you know. Is it aligning? Is it aligning with your true joy? Is it bringing you joy? And of course, you know, for me personally, the definition of joy is through service to something that's greater than just myself, than the ego, right? Is it serving the highest good? Is it serving something that will help people to grow and expand? And then in terms of the energy that's unfolding for you after this new moon, we have the Five of Swords with the Four of Cups. And this is quite an interesting combination of energies. And so I'm going to start with this Five of Swords, because this Five of Swords is talking about, it's talking about a little bit of a ache you have in the middle of your back. And it's something that you're carrying. It's a pain you're carrying because you felt hard done by. You felt a little bit betrayed by someone. So someone did you wrong, and you're kind of harboring this grudge, and it's really manifesting as a physical pain in the middle of your back. Maybe for some of you it's not the physical pain, but there is this grudge. There is this feeling of, this person did me wrong. And you know what? It's time to recognize that that person did themselves wrong. That person did themselves wrong. They're accumulating their own karma. And while you're harboring a grudge towards this person, you are disallowing yourself from moving forward. You are disallowing yourself from having clear vision. You are disallowing yourself from seeing all the amazing opportunities that have been provided through you actually going through that experience. Sometimes we need someone in our life for a short while, and then that relationship's run its course, and then it needs to be cut out. And so maybe this manifests as, this person kind of betrayed me, but actually, you know what, that person is no good for you anymore. Set the boundary, move on, forgive, release, let go. Why do you want to carry around something that someone else did? I mean, it's not even your story. It's not even your story. And so what the Four of Cups is saying is, while you're focusing here, and you're so intent on here, this, that, and you're speaking that same narrative over and over and over, you're unable to see all the other things that are being offered here and here, because there are multiple pathways available to you. There are multiple gifts opening up. But if you're not willing to see beyond just this one version, this one story, you're not going to see it. You're going to miss it. You're going to miss it. So this is the thing. There are opportunities opening up, and there's this risk that you're losing. You're not seeing it, right? You're missing these opportunities because you're too focused on a loss or on something someone else did. And let it go, guys. Move forward, because you don't need that. You really don't need that. So, beautiful Aries moons, thank you so much for watching. It's such a pleasure to have you here. Please do follow me on Facebook and Instagram at LunAscention. I do a live every Tuesday evening, 8:30 p.m. GMT +2 on Instagram, unless I have a power cut, because here in South Africa we get some power cuts sometimes. So last week I had to cancel, but whenever I can, it absolutely happens quite regularly. And yeah, if you would like a full reading with me, that would be amazing. I would love to go on that journey with you. Normally takes about an hour, and obviously it's a lot more specific to your life and very in-depth and really a transformative experience if you're ready for it. So my email's below. Send me an email if you'd like to do that, and thank you so much for watching. Aries Moon.